Hello, welcome to Sit Down for Stand Up. I have Melike with me here, a Turkish comedian, correct, based in London. How are we doing? You all right?
Yes, I'm doing great, thank you. And thank you for having me. How are you doing?
Yeah, really well, thank you, really well. It was good to get you on because I watched a couple of your bits that made me laugh. Particularly is it the hospitality bit where the customer's always right?
Ah, that bullshit. Yes, it's not.
So we all, I think working in hospitality, you learn humility quite quickly.
You don't learn humility, you just prove yourself over and over again how much we are surrounded by idiots every day.
Yes.
Uh, yes, 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 yes.
How
And
how how? Oh, sorry.
that joke has a different place in my heart because it was a funny bit. Like, I can't believe you are 34, and me taking it as a compliment. Ah, another compliment, but it's just me being immature and acting like childlike. Story of my life. I love it.
So tell me, how did you get into comedy?
So I remember writing my very first jokes at the age of 4, and I can proudly say I started bombing since then because the adults weren't getting it. Maybe because I was ahead of my time, I'm not sure, but I was really having a great time. And when I was going through my punk period in my late teens, I
Ooh,
was, woohoo, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I might as well. Who's your favorite band? Quickly before we go into it.
Um, Maybe it's not very punk, but still to this day, Misfits. But no, 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 Motorhead. Motorhead altogether. It's not punk, I know, but my favorite band is Motorhead. I
Okay,
mean,
I'm,
it's very,
I'm
sorry.
33, so we're quite a similar age. So mine was like Bold
Yeah.
and Pursuit, Blink 182, Sum 41. So
Yeah, because I always call myself a pick-me immigrant because I grew up with British culture, like having the Motorhead tattoo, growing up with Monty Python, embodying the punk culture. I'm not like the other immigrants kind of thing going on here. Anyway, so me going through my punk phase and burning Bibles in Turkey, meeting with my black metal friends, I was really having a great time in my life. It was my renaissance, and I was all about playing drums, drinking, and drawing cartoons, caricatures. And from that period, I began my comedy career. But not until I lost everything and went back to square one in London 1 year ago, I wasn't courageous enough to step ahead on the stage doing stand up. It's a different story because um, 1 year ago, I found myself like a very liberating point in my life, telling myself I have nothing to lose.
yeah,
I might as well as go on the stage and tell the most embarrassing things about myself and let people laugh me. So it was that liberating moment that I decided to do stand up.
because when I speak to most people, it seems that when most people start it, it's not from a good, happy place. It's
No.
I'm at rock bottom now. I can either do the whole bottle of paracetamol right here, or I can try and get on stage.
Yes, it's never, oh my God, look at my friendship circle. I am in this happy, fulfilling relationship, and look at my children, and I have a fulfilling, satisfying career. And let me just do stand up in addition to those amazing life qualities I have. It's not that. It's really a desperate point. It's very liberating.
Fuck them people,
It's like,
also.
yeah. Sorry,
You know,
what?
fuck them people.
Yeah, fuck normal people. And I feel like all of our comedians, I know like from my friends and from my life, it's blood, sweat, and tears kind of journey that it was a painful distillment process to extract these kind of jokes. So like maybe appreciate once again when you laugh if you are having a solid, stable, healthy life.
Hmm.
Just saying.
Yeah, completely agree. And a lot of people, when they look at comedy or comedians, they always seem to look at the finished article. They don't see the grueling process we have to go to. 1 hour journey returns, 2 hour journey, 3 hour drives each way for a 5-10 minute set. And there's
Yeah,
a lot of groundwork that goes into it to from nothing to getting on
yeah.
the stage.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me the story of like the blind nuns, you know?
I don't know, but I'm Kate. I'm sitting back for this one. Blind nuns, Melike, go.
Blind nuns. I'm not really in control of all the details, but the story, the moral of the story is like they are blind because of the delicate art they are doing, and they don't have any life. They just focus on the carpet or whatever the cloth they are mending or doing, and you appreciate it as a piece of art and seeing amazing. But the artist behind that is going through lots of like hopes and struggles and challenges. I mean, for me, comedy is the highest art. So yeah.
I watched the other day Talking Funny. It's with Ricky Gervais, Seinfeld, Louis C.K. and Chris Rock. And they say in the world, a comedian is critiqued the most because a song will be critiqued, say a 4 minute song's critiqued after 4 minutes. A comedian is judged pretty much every 15 seconds.
Yes, yes, yes. And you know, another unfair thing is like you can practice your song, you can practice your theater, drama, etc., and you will be like more or less sure what's the output going to be. But you know, I'm sure you are also aware like there are jokes you are saying, okay, this is guaranteed, this will bring kill the people, but instead you bomb. Like it's very not worth going through it if you don't have the clout for it, definitely.
You've got to have the heart and the passion for it. So,
Yeah.
how would you say? What is your process of writing a joke? Like, do you carry a notebook with you? Do you sort of like sit yourself down like half hour a day? What's like the idea
Uh,
to the stage sort of process for you?
I mean, I always count on my muses. I believe in the messengers of my subconscious, but I am also aware you cannot just rely on and just eat grapes all day and look at the sky and wish for a joke to land. So what I do is I trigger and tickle my subconscious with finding funny bits in everyday life, and I write those down into my notepad and I just spend some time with them. And for example, one of them is currently I have that. I mean, it's not a joke. There's no gag in it, but it's just funny because you know I was staying at an Airbnb home and I realized all the loo rolls were half that the homeowner was bringing me, and I wasn't sure how to interpret this. Like, why are you giving me half loo rolls and who used that and why am I not worthy of the full loo rolls? Obviously, there's no joke there, but it just stays in my pocket. And maybe some other day, another funny bit about life, like a weird stuff, comes and meets with that idea, and then, ta-da! Here's the joke. And
So
so, to
you're
sum
only
up,
worth single ply toilet paper, not triple ply, not double ply.
I don't know what was her issue actually. So for me, it's just I do my part and write things down, and I just depend on my subconscious to deliver me to joke. I
Okay,
trust him.
okay, and then from that you sort of articulate it a little bit. You go onto stage. Do you try and do quite? Do you try and do a lot of new material, or do you just like slip the odds new material in like a bit at a time?
You know, I was so naive when I first started doing stand-up. I had the impression of, okay, these jokes are amazing. Let me get rid of them and try new stuff, try new stuff. And then I thought, and then I experienced that's not the way things should go. Because I am a person who gets sick of her own material really quick. So what I do is I just bridge them differently. I remix them. I do another volume, and sometimes I trust on my stage persona. And when I'm in the mood and when I'm in the zone, just out of a sudden, on the stage, another joke just gives birth to itself. So I really surrender and trust the process, but I am not very like not I don't have a very much responsibility about my jokes, what to try next. I just go with the flow and my mood, like okay, which jokes are calling me today, kind of thing.
Okay, so
And
so
that's
your
it.
set's quite fluid. It's not very like it's got its layers, but it's not like word for word down the page. You sort of see where the
Yeah.
moment's going to go.
Yeah, but I had a period that maybe I was really hating myself and I wanted to see myself in a low place where I would do like, okay, new material 100% today. And it was like a humiliation ritual. I did some stages like that, never again.
Yeah.
Now I have some anchoring jokes and I know, okay, I enjoy telling these and I know most of the people enjoy hearing them. So anchoring jokes like let's see like think of it like you are in the middle of the sea, you have nowhere to go, you are just swimming, and I just put some islands here and there. Okay, this is my island. I will get my rest here in between the weird new material. So maybe I do that, yeah.
Okay. And how what sort of material do we do? Are we sort of like one-liners, observational comic, storytelling,
I love misdirection nowadays in the last
misdirection?
recent month. That's my new passion. I love it. And every time I just give myself chuckle, so I don't give up on it. So basically I go from dark humor, add some misdirection,
Oh, we're a dark humor
and
comic, yeah. We like the dark
yeah, yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes. Yes. Because maybe it's because, I studied psychology, sociology, and I was a real nerd in
We got that a
Turkey.
little bit from from talking with you. Yes, I sensed a bit of a
Yeah, and
philosophical
Turkey
background.
a huge intellectual background. Like I was a lecturer in Turkey, believe it or not.
Oh,
And I was a nerd. I was doing like creating study groups on free will just because I was enjoying the discussions. And it's a funny story because think of me like in my bubble and in Turkey I used to have a higher socioeconomic status. So my main concern was, do we have free will, religion source, etc. And everything is psychology for me. And when I was in London, it was like pure reality, all about economics, finance, all kinds of real life stuff. So that created an imbalance in myself. And now all the things I studied, like mythology, philosophy, is just pure joke for me because it doesn't make sense in my current reality. So I love making fun of out of those stuff. So dark humor, I would say, I love making fun of religions and like the transcendental stuff. And I add some misdirection. And as a personality, I was always a self-deprecating kind of person. I love it. And I add a sprinkle of self-deprecation. And if I feel weird enough, I love experimenting with meta and surreal elements if I'm in the mood. But that's my style for now.
okay. Would you sort of just like choose that in the moment on stage, or like would you change it pending what room you're doing, or do you just sort of go with the flow?
I think it's mostly on my daily mood or weekly presence. If
Okay.
I feel like more in control, more active, I count on my working jokes and I add structures on them. If I'm in the more dream reality and the days blur to each other and I'm in a funny period of my life, I'm like, okay, I will do meta and surreal stuff maybe. Yeah.
Cool. And so with your set, is it is it usually like like your fives, your tens? Do you do any gong shows? Do you do any what do you call roast battles?
Uh, Gong Show, not yet, but I have been applying and I think I am ready to be humiliated. My
Okay.
ego can take it now. But besides classical five, sevens, and tens, I haven't done like the roast kind of thing or anything. But I am really open to it.
Yeah, cool. I haven't done any roast myself. I'm doing my second gong show on Thursday, next Thursday, I believe, up the creek in Greenwich. In fact, my first ever time on stage was Comedy Store. First Comedy Store gong show. First time I've ever did it, and I lasted a minute 20-ish seconds. It
Oh,
was
any advice you have for me?
um don't take it personally would be my
Uh,
advice because speaking to quite a lot of comics here, it's with Gong Show, it's not how the room's feeling, it's how three people in particular are feeling.
mm.
The guy who was giving me advice going on to it, and he was giving me advice. I was like, okay, interesting, interesting. He lasted 5 seconds just because he was from
Oh,
New Zealand. The second he
oh my God.
spoke, they were like, get the fuck off.
Oh my
Like,
God.
and I think the one I did, there was 32 people, and I think only two got through to the end. So
Like,
they can be brutal, but it's a learning curve. I think it's one of them ones just never take personally.
yeah, it's a
So
humbling process. I mean, I only wish for myself not to blame that they shoot me out of the stage because I'm female, because I'm from Turkey. I don't like I'm sure this has been happening around, but I don't want to say this. So but I don't know. It sounds really humbling, by the way.
how do you find being I'm just gonna say, a female Turkish comedian on the set in London?
Um, I mean, I don't think I have a very privileged or a special place in London comedy scene because I look around and I see lots of immigrants doing comedy. And obviously, sometimes the females weigh much more in the lineup. So it's no thing like I'm female, I'm from Turkey. But I again like to make fun of it. Like what I do is peak female humor because you know that up until to a recent time there was a comedy genre as female humor, which is really funny in itself. Really, really funny. Like there are all kinds of humor subcategories, and there is the female one.
Yeah, that's
And I
weird.
just
That's got to be bracketed. Like,
yeah,
uh,
I just make it fun out of it because my jokes include fatwa, suicide, pedophiles, and I just say this is female comedy because that's what females go through. If you want, yes, that's it, female comedy.
to me, comedy's comedy. You're either funny or you're not funny. And
Yeah.
I like I said, my type of humor, which I don't do on stage, is deadpan. I love deadpan comedy. It is so good. I could never pull it off myself. But like I said, like one-liners, I chuckle, but I don't find them that funny. But I still appreciate the art form.
Yes, it's amazing. It's really like a crisp style of art. I love it.
But one thing I do like what you just said is about the whole female comedy. I'm going to do a quotation for that crap. Is you don't fall back on being a female Turkish comedian. You're just a comedian. Like I see a lot of people in London, if they're I'm not gonna say this PC correctly, if if they're from like say like the Middle East, they always open with "No, I'm not your Uber driver,"
Ah,
and they seem to fall back on that. It's like
yeah,
I would hate all my comedy set around me being fat. I want to
yeah.
rely on being funny, not on my physical characteristics.
Yeah, it's not like, I would say maybe my experience being a comedian from Turkey is sometimes I cannot pronounce amazingly my jokes and it gives birth to new jokes because I have my one of my favorite jokes about like custom made
Yeah.
thongs and in many stages, I had told that joke with custom-made sexy tongues, and there must be some people out there thinking like I am kinky. But then I realized, what tongues? What tongues? And a lady warned me, what you are meaning is thongs. So that kind of stuff can give me some kind of headache. But other than that, it's really, I am really happy to say it's a really welcoming and a warm environment in the like 99% of London comedy scene. So there is no blockage for me there.
Well, no, that's amazing, and that's all how you do want it. So, okay,
Yeah.
what's I ask this every single time. It's my favourite question to ask. Not the first bit, like I love the first bit. Don't care about the first bit as much. It's the second bit for me. What was your favourite moment on stage? And my favourite bit. When did you bomb the hardest?
Oh, oh my God. So my favorite moment on stage was okay, let's talk about the bombing before then.
Good. I'll get comfy for this bit. I love them so much.
So, me personally, I mean, it's no surprise to hear from a comedian's mouth, but I'm not the most confident person on earth. And I always second guess myself, like in my daily life, as my personal Melike persona. But to my surprise, for my humor, I am not like that. So when I bomb, unfortunately, I don't think there's a problem with the joke. So I know in hindsight that's a problem for me that I should really recover from because it won't make sense. I'm like, they don't get it. This is pure golden. I'm not sure why they love it. So what I go through is even worse because I go through one bombing to another, and my sister keeps telling me, sister, please stop telling that joke. It's not working. Like people are putting the warning labels. But I'm like, no, 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 I love my joke. And it makes no sense that I should really get rid of it. So, and I always say there's a thin line between being a dark humor comedian and being an asshole, like the edge lord kind of area we are talking
Right?
about. And obviously, my intention isn't, I don't have any ill intention, and my intention isn't being a terrible person, but sometimes some of my dark jokes don't land as I imagine them in my mind. So I bomb and I bomb and I bomb. But the thing is, for example, one of those jokes was about a cerebral palsy patient
Okay.
because I worked as a caretaker of a cerebral palsy patient,
Yeah.
and it's coming from my experience.
Oh, sorry, cerebral
And
palsy. Yeah.
yeah, sorry,
Cerebral
yeah.
palsy. Okay, yeah, good. Clarify. Yep.
And I told that joke on many stages, and people are like, but then I found a comic who also suffers from that disability. And I told my joke to him, and he chuckled. He said, ha ha ha, that's funny. I like it. So that's the problem. And from my recordings, I see sometimes when I bomb, before my bombing, people look at each other as if like want a permission to laugh. And if they see
Yes.
no one is laughing, they don't laugh.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah. They might find it funny, but they look around the room for consent almost. It's yeah. It's
Yeah.
bull that absolute bull. So, would you say you write your comedy for yourself or for the people?
Unfortunately for myself, and I wish that wasn't the
Good.
case.
Good
But
answer.
yeah.
Is
I
it?
mean, I don't want to do easy laughs because for me, my aim on stage, especially on an open mic, no one is paying me, no one came to see me specifically. I don't owe anything to audience if you think about it. I didn't promise them laughter. I didn't promise them an amazing evening with full of laughter. They didn't pay, they didn't ask for me, and I'm on the stage, and it's my place to perfect my art, craft my art, my thing. But maybe in hindsight, I have begun to thought maybe there should be a balance because it's not like pure, yeah.
No, I think comedy should be for you do it for yourself, and I think eventually there's enough people out there who will find it funny. I mean, what?
Yeah.
Okay, this can be one of my follow-up ones then. So, do you think you should perform every room you're offered, or do you think you should choose specific venues in correlation with your comedy?
Mm. I mean, I would say both ways definitely have some advantages in themselves. I mean, I'm in no place to choose venues, but
Mhm.
for me, I love my audience like chicken in factories, like captive in limited space, in dark, with no height, with low ceilings. I love those kinds of venues. And maybe it's a self-fulfilling prophecy now. I'm not sure. When I enter a venue and when I see a big space with like height, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to bomb. And I don't like the yeah, those kind of spaces. And I didn't answer your happiest moment on stage question. Let me circle back to that.
So
It
what was your happiest time on stage? What was your best moment where you were like, yeah, right, I've fucking killed this?
So it was on a night, and you know the comedians before me were talking about dying, killing, suicide, and it was a really grim evening for all of us. And I love suicide jokes. I love it. I love it. I mean, it's my taste. I just love it. And when I went on the stage, when I cued them, that was also my material. I just stepped out of my persona and I said, "Hold on there. We are going to come out of this evening alive."
Yeah.
So making fun of that grim moment, that heavy energy was, I had felt great. And the other one would be I have a joke about Quran and Allah, which you know you cannot make a joke about,
Well,
supposedly.
I don't care. I make a
Yeah,
joke
me
about
too.
God, make a joke about Allah. It's the 21st century. Just
Yeah,
go.
it is. And I really get pissed when people say it's Islamophobia. Dude, I came from Turkey. It's not
Yeah,
Islamophobia, it's experience. I'm just telling my memories if you fancy.
yeah.
And when I was telling that joke, how I get small dick energy from Allah and Quran, when I was beginning to tell the
Sorry.
joke,
So one second, sorry.
yeah,
You
I
know, go. Okay, go. Sorry, go.
the artist in me stepped out and interrupted and told the room, let's see how this joke goes with desperate eyes, because we are in a reality that we cannot laugh, we cannot
Sorry,
make joke.
I'm
But
not even paying attention anymore. Sorry.
and then I told my joke and I said, all that anger, all that kiss my ass, all that do this or I'll destroy you. And I just did improvisation and I said, chill, I'm a psychotherapist. You can't hide from me. So it was one of my happy moments. Yeah.
Fucking love that.
And the
Right,
jokes,
I need to be composed.
the, the jokes connect to each other because when my family watched my bit on Allah and Quran from Turkey, because they are aware it's a high risk, they bribed me to delete my offensive jokes. They are like, daughter, we want you alive. Please delete those videos. And then I have begun to make jokes of that situation, and I'm telling people I'm already making money out of my comedy. My family is bribing me. That's money. So yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
No, I love it. So one of the questions that I think we've already answered here is so do you think there's anything you can't joke about?
Um, um, if you are surrounded by stupid people, yes.
Yep, cool.
Because my ex best friend was a black man, and I have this joke, and it goes like, I read a book on racism recently. It was amazing. Then people, whoo, amazing, because they know how my jokes are. And I tell them, it turns out I was doing it wrong. And I have fun. And with my friend, who is a black man,
Yeah.
we laughed a lot to this joke. But when I sent that recording to a white British friend, she was like, Melike, you cannot make that joke. Oh my God. Oh my God. So what I'm trying to say is, if you are surrounded by common sense people, definitely you can.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, because I mean, I even make a jokes of, anyway, let's not go there. So
No,
I
I
don't
get
think
you.
there's a,
I get so people
yeah.
get offended on other people's behalfs.
Yes, yes, just chill. I mean, it's not,
You
yeah.
know, I'm completely with you on that. I think, yeah, you can joke about what you want, but it all depends on where it comes from. I we addressed it. If you're going out there to be a prick for being a prick's sake, then yeah, you're an arsehole. But if you can find a some comedy in some context, then you know, absolutely perfect.
I mean, people should really make it clear for themselves. It's a persona on stage, and I'm not like that going around in my daily life.
Yes.
So when I tell them I stopped playing basketball because my basketball coach was a pedo, but I was in my 12, I was in my prime for a pedo, not to flex, blah, blah, blah. It's funny. It's funny. It's funny. I'm not going around telling people those kind of stuff, but I'm making fun of myself and the whole situation and the world reality. It's not that deep, I would say.
Well, I know there's an app out there called a Camel Calculator, and it tells you how many camels you're worth. And the ideal one, I think it was like you got to be 13 years old, skinny waist, big tits, and then that is the highest currency you can be in camels.
That's amazing. I mean, in my next sets, maybe I should add like how much Muhammad was really like children, that kind of stuff. I mean, these are realities. Why can't we make a jokes out of it? Like,
His
yeah.
nursery never took off, though, did it? So,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah.
Definitely.
So okay, so we've done a sale rooms. We're going about 8 months. What are your favourite rooms to do? Any shout outs? Any comedy clubs that you've absolutely loved?
So I love Love Bet.
Okay, yep.
And Love Bet, If you are hearing me, please remove me out of your red list because I canceled on the day a few times, unfortunately, and now I cannot get spots. So please, love bet, hear me out. I love you. They are really special for me. And Love Bunker's X venue in
Bunkers,
Covent
yeah,
Garden was
yeah.
amazing. Yeah, it was really good. And I love Camberwell Comedy Club because the people who run it are really amazing people. I love them. They are not perfect. No one is perfect,
No.
but I really love how they arrange the stuff. So those are, and last but not least, Virtue Comedy. It's my favorite. They
Uh,
always have a great warm audience, very unhinged, very my style. People are ready to laugh. Virtue Comedy would be my top, yeah.
okay, awesome. Well, yeah, I've got to go check them out. Are they all based in London? Yes.
Yeah, 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 Greenwich.
Oh, okay, all in Greenwich. Okay, so yeah, we'll go check them out. Melike, that's absolutely brilliant. Thank you ever so much for coming on, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you around the circuit.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for this conversation. I really enjoyed it and have a great day.